So we got ourselves primed again for just another round of it. And it's amazing, you know, that you can do that. How many days could we continue like this? You know, like it's pretty incredible. You know, like we all got out of bed at a snail's pace, and everything was stiff and hurt, but we're ready for another one. You know, how many days could you continue like that? I don't know. I looked around at one point and looked at this group, you know, and it's a very eclectic group of guys. Like, I mean, it's a very different group of ragtag. I called us the toilet paper tigers, but I think the reference was missed. And none of them were about to quit. And, you know, to be completely honest, I looked at, you know, quite a few of them as, you know, I'm much more physical, I'm much more larger in stature and frame and size, and these kids are not going to quit. And so neither am I. I'll get through this though. I'll see that each one of these does somehow. Each one of these individuals that I'm here with gets through it.
That's a big jump.
And that, you know, that bond actually does form in kind of a strange way that you don't expect or you don't see coming. And it was at that point, I'm trying to recall when or which night it was, but I was just convinced at that point, I'm getting through this. Convinced. You know, up until that point, I knew I was going to get through. I mean, up until that point, I was like, you know, you made a promise. And so I gave him a yup, but that was my, like, yeah, I'll see it to the end. And part of the reason for that is that when I looked on the website and saw all that had gone into it, I thought, man, I don't know this individual other than having heard him on a podcast, but the level of detail and work that somebody has put into building a program like this deserves my commitment. So actually that was, you know, I had made my mind up at the beginning. I had a lot of moments, but I kept going back. I'm like, well, you gave this man who you don't know your word that you're going to see his program, which is his work of art, to the end. I think my advice would be for, you know, for any of those, you know, men, I guess in this case, or, you know, or women that feel that there are rooms in their house, so to speak, that they haven't peered into. You know, there are closets or attics or, you know, that they haven't opened the doors to. That it's events like these that open those doors, that let you peer in rooms otherwise left closed. And they know who they are. They're sitting there in an office somewhere, and there is, you know, if not a void, there is just something that they haven't touched. And so you pick up a book and you read about, you know, some poor bastard that spent how many months in a Japanese POW camp. And how can you ever relate to that human being if you haven't even, you know, touched the surface of suffering? And, you know, I think, unfortunately, in our society, we run from that word. And I am in agreement with others that there's something to be said about running towards it, to find it, to know those limits, to know that you can grit your teeth. And here's the thing, we live in such a simple world right now. I mean, there's complexities, don't get me wrong, and there's illness and things like that that are tragic. But other than that, it's an all-you-can-eat buffet table. And if you don't push yourself to those limits, nobody's going to do it for you. Society's not asking that of you like it used to. If you had to live in this environment, you know, 50 years ago, you wouldn't have had a choice. That would have been your day-to-day grind. What we're calling tough and swollen hands, that would have been every night after you put the wood in and did whatever else you had to do. Nowadays, you got to seek it, and I think there's really something to be said about opening those doors, opening those dark doors, you know, that they're not going to open themselves, and they're not going to open them, you know, a microwave dinner's not going to open them, you know, or, you know, at-home delivery, Meals on Wheels, you know, this type of shit isn't going to open it. And so you got to seek it yourself. And my advice would be that if that voice is calling to them, if you know you've got those, you know, closed doors, then this is the type of event that allows you to peer in. Yeah, I made a promise to myself and to this program. So I feel honored to have been part of the first serial, for starters. I only see great things for it. And I made a vow to myself that I would do just that, that I would put down all guards and I would let this happen as it would. And so I hope I've done that. I haven't withheld anything. I've been very honest with my feedback, and I know you can expect probably a greater degree of feedback once I digest it.
I can't wait.
Once I take care of my feet.
Yeah, some jacuzzi time.
Yeah, I've got blisters about the diameter of the top of that cup on my heels. So I look forward to just catching up on sleep. I didn't sleep for 8 days. I don't sleep very well out in tents. And that's another thing. That's another notch in the old belt. Like, to do something that, leading up to this, I was having nightmares. And the nightmares were really bizarre.
Anything come true? Any symbols?
No, but I'll tell you what. Now this is... I was at the end of the line this morning, and someone yelled cadre. So I turned and looked, and trotting super slowly across the end of that road and stopped and looked at us was a giant white wolf.
Great job, man.
Yeah, thanks guys. I appreciate it.
And I mean it. Like, hit me up.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I get my morning hits, so don't worry.
There you go.
Yeah.
You'll probably hear a lot of lessons in the next month.
Yeah, good. Yeah, good stuff. I look forward to hearing something.
Cool.
Yeah.